Hey, this is Pamela Schneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. And we've got all over the place this week. It was a news-packed kind of week. But we're going to just pick out a few of the most impactful and entertaining ones. One of them was Wegmans is tired of shoplifters.
You know, the local news coverage couldn't have said it better. They said, this is why we can't have nice things.
Right. Yeah, they launched their basically one of those you pick up your own scanner or scan it from an app, I believe. Scan your own groceries and then just walk out kind of thing. A lot of retailers have piloted programs like this. I can remember at least 7, 8 years ago, Ahold Delhaize stores they have like a gun that you pick up as you walk in and you scan as you go. I've even seen it in Switzerland. However, just like self-service scales, and I can remember writing for retailers a long time ago, people have to really pay attention to just how many bananas and pinto beans are getting rung up on things like that, because those are the two SKUs that people pick when they are being shady about it. And Wegmans is just owning up, saying we've got too much loss going on in this program, and we're going to shelve it for now and figure out something else.
Yeah, they were very careful in their announcement saying shrink and loss and this stuff, but it doesn't take too much to figure out that they're talking about theft.
Right, right. And sweethearting is as old as retail. And actually, one of the interesting things is I've seen a lot of analysis on things like TikTok and recommendations when you got lawyers popping up in your For You feed. And one of them said, I will never use self checkout. And self checkout is taking over, especially in retailers like Walmart. And accidental sweethearting is a thing as well. But it seems like some of the retailers are taking a pretty hard stance on some of these things and going after consumers who are doing it, whether or not they meant to do it on purpose. Intent is really hard to judge on some of those things, but the cameras are very good. So this is no longer some super fuzzy like footage from way up high that you can't really tell what's going on. They can see you really well, and that kind of segues into the next story. Richard Smalley tried out the Dash Cart at Amazon, and I'm curious. I mean, next time I'm near one, I have to try it myself as well.
We used to go to the headquarters in Chicago where a lot of these stores are, and we don't as much, but we're going to start doing that more. So hopefully we can check out one in person. I think it would have been a really interesting story, him telling how his experience with it was, because he's had some wild experiences at Amazon stores, and it's already been on there, so the spoilers are already out. The cart didn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me because that was the issue that I've had because I checked out the very first Amazon Go store in Seattle way back when they first got it open, and I found that it's a little bit buggy, which is a little cart humor if depending on where you are in the country. Is it a trolley? Is it a buggy? Is it a cart? But they're relying on cameras, and the cameras aren't necessarily going to work perfectly. And then the whole logistics of how it's going to, Amazon's putting a lot of chickens in this basket.
No,
And
well, they also have to realize that consumers still like going to the store, but they do not like wasting time at the store. They don't like lines. They don't like technology that doesn't work. I mean, how long are you going to wait to see if something works like that as a consumer? Like what, 5 seconds? I
oh
got
yeah,
I got a list. I got crap to do in there. I'm busy. I know I want to see where stuff is. I want to get it. I'm not jacking around with technology that doesn't improve things. Self
right.
checkout does improve things. If you don't have that much stuff and there's no lines, it's great. And
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
blame I don't blame retailers for putting those in. I think they're wonderful.
I mean, I don't blame retailers for putting those in, but I do like the careful approach to having it as an option and not your only option. The Walmarts near me are ripping out all of the cash registers except for one or two and making everyone, regardless of cart size, do their own self checkout. I don't think that's a great idea.
No, I don't think
Um,
so either. The models I've seen in this area, Kansas City, the Walmarts are about half and half, and Costco's have a nice self check that mean, if I go through there and I have less than 20 things, the self check is great.
Oh yeah.
It's fast. It's really fast. And there's someone there willing to help you with your whiskey or beer purchase. I mean, they are there like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Costco near me actually has a bank of those self checkouts, but it has evolved since they put it back in. They had it, they took it out, they put it back in, and now actually the employees are the ones that are checking you out, but they're using it as you leave all your stuff in your basket. And I am so type A about this that I roll up to the checkout line with all my barcodes facing up and everything laid out perfectly because I live so close to a Costco. It is literally 3,000 feet that way. That I'm there all the time. So I'm not buying $500 worth of stuff at Costco. So they can go through and just scan. And I'm in and out of the checkout line at Costco, even when the line is all the way back to perishables, and it is often all the way back to perishables at my store, 5 minutes
Yeah,
tops.
that's the thing that retailers have to realize. That is a big part of a consumer experience is not wasting time. And those lines, I've been in those Costco's when the line has been way back and it's taken 15 minutes and it's just excruciating. It makes me not want to go.
Right, right. And mine seems to have it figured out, and I love them for it. I'm there all the time. So it's great. I forgot the other thing we were going to talk about.
We're going to talk about inflation.
Oh, God. I forgot inflation. But how did I forget inflation? Actually, we had the latest monthly report from Anna Marie Roerink from 210 Analytics. She puts this out for the International Fresh Produce Association. And no surprise, inflation's high, year over year prices are high. 90% of consumers are worried about elevated gas prices in August. Those have come down a little bit, but 94% of consumers are concerned about inflation. And they're changing their shopping behaviors because of it.
Yeah, we talked about this spring, and we were forecasting. I mean, we're not geniuses, but we read the news and we analyze the numbers that we're seeing, and we could tell consumers are definitely going to change their purchase patterns, and a lot of it is played out. They're shifting to cheaper stores, the big big warehouse type stores, store type places, Aldi, Lidl. Um, they have to be buying different because if you buy the same stuff, we know it's not 10% inflation on food. It's anywhere between 20 and 50% to buy the same way. So people are buying differently, and the stats are starting to show that.
Yep. And some of the behaviors that they pointed out, 50% are looking for sales and deals more often. They are also noticing 53% of consumers notice that fewer of the items that they're looking for are on sale. So they know the things that they normally buy and what the sale price is, and they're not seeing those kinds of sales anymore. 15% of them are switching their shopping to a lower cost retailer, cherry picking. A lot of this stuff is not surprising. One of the stats that I pulled out of this, though, was I thought interesting, was that prices increased more than 27% for unit price between 2019 and this August, and units are only down 1.3%. So people are still buying. I mean, retail demand is still strong.
Yeah,
Um,
people are still eating, and they're cutting non-essentials, and food is an essential.
and another point that, I mean, this is not a great thing to brag about being right about, but we did talk about, and you talked about it at Brandstorm, is one of the ways that the retail industry is responding, that manufacturers are responding, is shrinkflation. And even though I'm pulling this quote out of here. Looking beyond dollars that were highly affected by inflation, unit and volume declined versus August 2021 by more than 5%. But volume declines are steeper than unit declines, which points to consumers moving to smaller pack sizes, whether it was their own choice or whether it was the manufacturer making the pack size smaller. And I'm seeing a lot of shrinkflation out there. That you got to really do your toilet paper math. Goes all over the store nowadays. Yeah, you got to do the unit cost of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see more of it too, because that is a way that retailers can they, be more empathetic toward price rises. And I mean, consumers are always going to buy, but if they have to buy a little bit less of something as opposed to not buying it at all, I think a lot of them can understand that trade.
Right. I think the most important part of shrinkflation, though, is to make sure that consumers are aware that you are doing it and not try to sneak around with a smaller package for the same price. That is the sneaky, dirty thing that will get you called out and shamed on social media. I have noticed my kids love Takis, and I don't know whether it's a Texas thing or it's a kid thing. It's like Flamin' Hot Cheetos, only the Mexican version. And there's a little bag and then there's a bag that looks like this. And the bag that looks like this actually has fewer Takis in it than the little tiny bag. And you gotta do your math on these things. You can't just, buy with your eyes on this stuff anymore. And is this going to create an entire population of consumers who actually sit there and do the unit price math if I
Well,
leave it on the shelf?
you and I are in the Gen X generation, and this is not our first recession, our first rodeo. We've been through these before, and I'm passing this great knowledge on to my kids. It sounds like you are. The Taki lessons,
Yeah.
to be shopping with their own money soon, and they're going to learn these lessons. I think maybe our generations on either side of us maybe haven't dealt with that as much, and they're feeling the pain a little more. Like one of the things in the report we talked about food service, and 81% of households still went to a restaurant in August. The generation that led the whole thing was Gen X at 85%. So it makes me think that our generation kind of knows how to handle this, and we're a little more stable. A lot of us have kids. Um, it makes me wonder why marketers keep forgetting about us.
They do. Maybe they will actually like look us up one of these days and figure out how to market to us. Although I feel like our generation's tagline is we don't care about what you think.
We
So
don't care, but we still eat.
yeah.
And there's a lot of us between 35 and 52.
All right. Well, that's it for the Produce Reporter Weekend Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up. And I have a theme today. My team made the playoffs.
I kind of forgot MLS was still going.
Whatever. It's just
Uh,
because your team isn't good this year.
they're not good, and I don't know any of the players anymore. I think I just outgrew it.